Wanted to make sure that you knew exactly what you needed to do for your Wimba session that we're going to have on Wednesday. Now, you might have some technical difficulties, and that's okay because this is going to be our trial run of the Wimba session. Remember, if you don't attend the Wimba session, you will need to listen to the archive of the Wimba session, and you can access that by logging into the Wimba on the login page and going to My Classroom and looking for the archives. There'll be a tab for that. Let me know if you have any questions with that. But I wanted to make sure that all of you run the setup on your computer, the wizard setup on your computer, prior to Wednesday. You need to do this prior to Wednesday because if you don't, you might run into some trouble on the day of, and I don't want you to feel like you are all alone out there. So I'm going to kind of show you how to do this. So to access Wimba, you're going to go to the login to Canvas and you'll log in, and yours is going to look a little different than mine. So, one thing I do want to mention is that Wimba needs to be used with Firefox. If you do not have Firefox, you need to use Firefox. You can use Internet Explorer. I found that it works best with Firefox. So I know typically we do everything in Chrome, but for Wimba, you'll need to open up Canvas in Firefox and go that route. If you don't have Firefox, you can simply download it. It's free. So you'll have several different browsers, but that's okay. So once you get into your dashboard, you'll go to our course, of course. Sorry, I amuse myself. And you'll scroll down to on the home page where it says Wimba. Please watch these login instructions. They're going to be similar to what I'm talking to you about right now. These are the system requirements. If you have a Mac, you most likely need to make sure that you have Mac Lion or above. That needs to be your operating system. I have a Mac, and I had a lot of issue with Wimba when I still had Snow Leopards. So when I upgraded to Lion, it started to work. So just for all the Mac users out there. You also need to make sure your Java is enabled. So there's a participant guide. There's a video. Go ahead and watch that. To click into My Classroom, you're going to click on this Wimba link, and it'll take you to the screen. Now, your screen's going to look a little different. Your screen is actually, I'm going to minimize this, your screen is actually going to look more like this screen. And it's going to ask you, is your computer ready? Run the Setup Wizard. Now, for every browser that you use, you will need to do the Setup Wizard. So if you do this in Firefox and then you decide to be in Internet Explorer, you need to rerun the wizard. So you'll run the Setup Wizard, and I'm going to go through that process with you so you know what that will look like if you are doing it correctly. So this Setup Wizard will pop open, and you'll click Start. And it'll go through a bunch of tests. And it says, please set your pop-up blockers to allow this site and retry. So you go to Preferences, allow pop-up blockers for this, say OK, and retry the test. Testing pop-up. Now it'll test Java. And it should take just a little bit of time. Okay, Java was right. Now there is an update for Java. So if it asks you if you want to update, you can go ahead and do that. Or you can opt not to. It will work either way. If you don't get anything, you need to probably go into your control panel and go to Java and enable Java. If you have trouble with Java, then I would suggest you bring it to the help desk. You can also contact Gia Wu. She is our technology specialist here on campus, and her phone number is 623-935-8488, and her name is Gia Wu. She can help you with this if you're having trouble with the Java issue. After Java works, you can say, okay, I'm going to try allowing signed applets. It should get through that process. It's going to ask me about Java. You go ahead and click Run. Now it's going to check whether your microphone is working. And now it'll check to see if playback is working.
Congratulations. If you can hear this message, audio playback is working properly on
and
your computer.
And you'll hear something like that.
Please click Next to continue. Congratulations.
And then it will check the audio recording. And you talk to it. by pressing down the talk button, and you'll hear yourself. And once you do that, your computer will be complete. Once you do the setup wizard, when you log in, you will get this window. You simply log in with your name. I'm not going to give you a username and a password, so you would log in as whoever, whatever your name is, and you'll enter the classroom, and you should see something like this, and you'll see a list of people who are in the classroom, and be able to interact. You'll see that I'm there. It's just testing to see if it works, and then you should be able to see everybody else. In order to talk, you would hold down the talk button and talk, and everybody will be able to hear you. Or you can also hold down your control button. That works as well, which I find a little bit more convenient. There will be some visuals up here sometimes. Sometimes there won't be. If you have a question, you raise your hand by raising your hand, and I'll see that Heather has her hand raised, and I will then call on you to speak. We don't all want to speak over each other. If you agree with something, you can do a check mark. If you disagree with something, you can do a yes or a no answer. You can smile. But remember that after you ask your question, you actually have to take your hand down, so I don't think you still have a question. You can also chat. You can also type by chatting. Okay, so I just wanted to give you that little bit. You need to do that ASAP on your computer. You do need to have a microphone. You do not need to have a camera. We're not going to be using the video portion of this. We'll just be talking. So please do that sooner rather than later. And if you have questions, you can take it to the tech desk in Estrella or contact Gia Wu at the number I provided you earlier, which I'll provide you again. It is 623-935-8488. You can just tell her that you're in Heather Munz's CRE 101 and you're trying to get ready for Wimba. So if you have any questions, go ahead and email me.